John Calvin, on Psalm 19, verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The law of the Lord. While the heavens bear witness concerning God, their testimony does not lead men so far as that thereby they may learn to truly fear him, and acquire a well-grounded knowledge of him. It serves only to render them inexcusable. It is doubtless true that if we were not very dull and stupid, the signatures and proofs of deity which are to be found on the theater of this world are abundant enough to incite us to acknowledge and reverence God. But as, although surrounded with so clear a light, we are nevertheless blind, this splendid representation of the glory of God, without the aid of the Word, would profit us nothing, although it should be to us as a loud and distinct proclamation sounding in our ears. Accordingly, God vouchsafes to those whom he has determined to call to salvation special grace, just as in ancient times, while he gave to all men without exception evidences of his existence in his works, he communicated to the children of Abraham alone by law, thereby to furnish them with a more certain and intimate knowledge of his majesty. Whence it follows that the Jews are bound by a double tie to serve God. As the Gentiles to whom God had spoken only by the dumb creatures have no excuse for their ignorance, how much less is their stupidity to be ignored, who neglect to hear the voice which proceeds from his own sacred mouth. The end, therefore, which David here has in view, is to excite the Jews whom God had bound to himself by a more sacred bond, to yield obedience to him with a more prompt and cheerful affection. Further, under the term law, he not only means the rule of living righteously or the Ten Commandments, but he also comprehends the covenant by which God has distinguished that people from the rest of the world, and the whole doctrine of Moses, the parts of which he afterwards enumerates under the terms testimonies, statutes, and other names. These titles and commendations, by which he exalts the dignity and excellence of the law, would not agree with the Ten Commandments alone, unless they were at the same time joined to them a free adoption and the promises which depend upon it, and, in short, the whole body of doctrine of which true religion consists.